This is X60 RGB, my favorite and must-go-to light for almost any kind of shoot. It's small, it's versatile, it's powerful, and it just makes sense. But then Zhiyun engineers took a long, hard look at it and went, how can we make this even more affordable than it is right now? And after some intense brainstorming, which I assume included a whiteboard, too much caffeine, and one guy yelling, how about if we start by taking away carrying bag? What they came up with is CX50, their newest, even more budget-friendly light and entry into Molus X lineup. It's got most of what makes X60 such a great light, with some drawbacks since this is a stripped-down version to make it more budget-friendly. But the real question is, what did it gain, what did they lose, and is it worth buying? Let's start with the unboxing. As I just mentioned, first thing that you notice is that this light comes with no carrying bag. But what it does come with is high reflection reflector and a dome diffuser for it. You also get a USB-C to charge your light. I feel like this was the quickest unboxing ever, but okay, now let's talk about design. That's a really important part here. At first glance, CX50 looks almost identical to the X60 RGB, but look a little closer and you'll notice some small and insignificant differences. First, the back. The knobs and plastic are now black, so they can visually be different from X60. Screen is exactly the same, and power button is now red instead of orange, because why not red? Long press on now red button, scroll the knob so you can see the screen kind of fill up and the light is on. The plastic on the front is now black as well, so they can also be visually different than X60, but they still look pretty much the same. But the biggest change here is the battery. Unlike X60, on which you can take the battery off and kind of swap them if you're running out of it, on CX50 you can't do that. It's completely attached to the body physically. There's no way you can detach this and move it without breaking it. No swapping, no replacing. It stays there forever. Even though they look the same from far, these two batteries have nothing in common. I feel like they made a completely new thing because these are 2500 milliampere hours and these are 4500 milliampere hour batteries. Fan and the plastic, the body case, is kind of cheaper plastic now comparing to the metal on X60. Fan on X60 is made of aluminum or whatever you call it in your country. I understand the reason why it's made kind of plastic, because they have to make it budget friendly. They had to cut the cost somewhere, so it does make sense. My only concern is that during summer or during the hot days, or if you're shooting in a hot room, how is this light going to perform? Is it going to be enough to cool enough air in so you can actually properly function without stopping? You'll also notice that the release button is gone and the LED indicator of the battery status is gone as well. Everything else business as usual, 1/4 inch mount on the bottom. There's also USB-C plug here, and if you live in 1990s, AC plug as well. Also, one good thing to know, if you're planning to use this light while plugged into the USB, battery will not charge while light is on. Just like its older brother X60 and pretty much most of the lights on the market, this light has a little quirk when it comes to the power output. Let's say that it's just not linear. So if you turn it on and you put it just on 1%, it already produces a lot of power. This is more like 10 to 15% than 1%. And here is the interesting part. Pushing it to 100% will not give you dramatically higher output comparing to, let's say, 70 or 80%. But it will drain your battery faster. I hope this electric helps. Now let's talk some features. Even though this is a budget-friendly version of X60, it has 95% of exactly the same features. Color temperature ranges from 2700 to 6500. With a high reflection reflector, CX50 makes about 4600 lux. There is also effects mode. If you watch the X60 video that I made a couple of months ago, you'll notice that I also talked about the effects and how not they're so usable and how they feel so generic. On CX50, I feel like they actually fix them up and they make way more sense. Just like all the other lights from Molus lineup, this one also uses Bluetooth and you can use it via ZY Vega app, which I talked about also in this video. I have nothing but good words about it, like all the praises, seriously. Like it's a really great app that controls all the light. You can split them up in a group, so you can control everything from white balance to power output, pretty much everything besides one thing. And that's the effects that I just talked about. For some reason, the app does not allow you to use the effects. You can still change them on the light while it's connected to the app, but you just can't do it through the app. I don't think it's a big of a deal, to be honest. I just feel like that's something that it can be done with an update of the app or something like that. Since this is RGB version, you have full HSI control as well, 360 degrees. Also, you control saturation and intensity, hence HSI. This light is also CRI 95+, which means that your skin tones are gonna look nice and crispy orangish and not greenish like zombie horror movie. In a pack comes with the ZY mount and this high reflection reflector, and if you already own Bovens mount softboxes, you can just get an adapter that will allow you to mount those same boxes onto this light and keep on using them. So who is CX50 actually made for? Zhiyun wanted to create a versatile, high quality and still affordable light for everyone. So this light is made pretty much for everyone, from YouTubers, filmmakers, content creators to live streamers. Since the only real difference here between these two lights is the swappable battery, if you don't rely on batteries, this can be a great choice because the bicolor version starts at $149 and RGB starts at $179. That is $69 cheaper than the X60, which will get you probably like 12.5 eggs in the store today or something like that. Okay, let's do the conclusion and a verdict on this light. What I love about X60 is the compactness, the power, and detachable battery, because I can fit this light and both of these batteries inside my bag in one of those little pockets where usually camera would fit. With CX50 and the battery fully attached to the body, you kind of lose a little bit of that portability and flexibility that you can stick the light into those little pockets in your bag. With everything knowing the price and the quality and what kind of light this thing produces, I give this light 8 out of 10. So if you don't care about swappable batteries, get yourself one of these, save yourself some money, because if you do photography, trust me, you will need it. And if you decide to get any of these lights, affiliate link is down in the description. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao, ciao.